Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Rohit. I'm CTO at Ashwin GmbH, and I will be doing the moderation for this webinar. So today we will hear very interesting insights from 3 Horizon Europe projects on IoT security, on policy aspect, on standardization, and many other topics that will be touched upon. And we will start the webinar from a keynote from Mikko Roos. Mikko Roos, he wears many hats. He needs no introduction. He is an expert. He's a speaker, publicist. He's a researcher in the field of cybersecurity. He is part of many of research projects and also part of many of the EU institutes, and also at the German federal level, he's quite active. So, Mikko, over to you. The floor is yours.
Hey, thank you very much.
I have the title of your keynote, but I think it was a long time back, so feel free to share your thoughts.
No, thank you very much, and thanks for the invitation and introduction, Rohit, and thanks to Microsoft team for this nice green background. But I will not take any more efforts on changing that. I really like it. So let me share my screen. And when I was preparing or thinking about the keynote, wait, I need to start my presentation. When I was thinking about, I was a little bit overwhelmed because the past, let's say, 2 months, we had so many new developments in terms of cybersecurity regarding the challenges from agentic AI. And I was thinking about, well, if we start a keynote now and we are talking about what was the vision from DOSS project towards a CRA and what is the current situation we see on the market, it would be great to talk about here in the keynote and as well think about towards the project aims we had. Where are the, let's say, where are the good directions we can move forward from this. So I will start my presentation now. It should hopefully work. Okay, just please confirm that you can see my presentation. This would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, super. So I would like to emphasize how could we go into a CRA for practice in terms of agentic AI, because what we have seen in a couple of past months and weeks is changing completely the cybersecurity area. It's a completely game changer in terms of new threats, as well how these threats will lead into exploitation of systems, about the scalability we are facing, and as well about the times to react and the time left to react. But as well, keep in mind, if we see that let's say the bad guys or the offensive side is using agentic AI, we know as well from a defense side that there will be no other answers on these challenges than using agentic AI by ourselves in any way where we are implementing procedures for product security. And this is rather interesting because it's a couple of new challenges we need to face. First of all, what is remarkable, I think when the CRA was written, and I remember that I was sitting on tables with ENISA as well, the first times where there were the idea that we need to introduce product security. This was a time where agentic AI or AI itself in the software development lifecycle was not there. I mean, we were talking about very traditional ways how software is developed. And by that as well, the core idea of the CRA is valid because it says you need to secure software development you need to secure the software during the entire life cycle. It means from development to roll out, shipping, and then in the field, how to provide security when the products are running. However, what has fundamentally changed and will change rapidly the next months is the way how we in the industry are producing software for certain products. And this is as well because we are using AI. So AI has introduced a new way how it will increase productivity in software development, but as well it's creating new ways how software will be used during the entire life cycle. Let's think about in the past world before AI, we're thinking about software in versions. It's like if I'm a vendor, I'm building a product, it has a version 1.0, and then during the life cycle of the product, I will introduce new versions, which will lead into updates. The reason for new versions are maybe patches, it's like security, but it could be as well like introducing new functionalities. So the world we are coming from is thinking about in a traditional way that we are building a software and we are just developing this software further and further and adding new features, adding new patches, new fixes, and then shipping new versions. With AI, there is a paradigm shift ongoing, and the paradigm shift is called fast fashion software, which means that for certain reasons, we are not creating update versions of software. We say, well, if there is a set and there is a user need for running a certain software on this, this kind of software will be deployed, it will be written by AI, compiled and deployed just in time when the user is requiring the software for his certain requirements and needs. And then after he has used, the use case is finished, like the user has just done something with the software will be revoked. The next time the user is just asking for has a new use case, the software will be completely written again by agentic AI. So this is no more a life cycle in software version. It means that the software will be created just in time on the specific need and the specific context of the user, and after usage, it will be erased and then compiled next. This is something which is not represented in the CRA, because the CRA has still the idea that we have a software lifecycle which is running in versions. And this is something, if I discuss with stakeholders in the commission or as well of national level, this is something which is raising as well concerns, but as well, it's a huge question how we can adjust this, or how can we include this fast fashion software paradigm into the existing regulation frameworks. And the answer is, I can't tell you how to do this at the moment, because this is a completely new topic. And as we know, regulation and standardization is not progressing so fast as the transformation in the entire software industry at the moment. Second, the question of the threats. I mean, we are all cybersecurity experts or industry experts. So everybody of us is knowing how the models are progressing towards capabilities to find exploits, but not only to find a specific exploit, but as well how to set up an exploit chain to fulfill a certain task. I mean, what we have seen last week with ChatGPT 5.6 and Hugging Face was a perfect example of the capabilities of the current state of the model, which means even if you run the model in a sandbox, it might is considering to change the way how it will solve a problem. And even if this is leading into an idea that you need to exploit, let's say, your own system to break out of the sandbox and then find a quicker way for the solution than the way it was originally, let's say, the test in this case was designed, that's the remarkable point, because it means that this new models have an entire very good capability to plan their tasks, which is completely different to what we have seen in the model generation same time last year. And this is shown by this graphic. I mean, this is a very simple, it is from the UK Cybersecurity Institute, their benchmark tests, a very simple test for capture the flag task. But as well, we see how the capabilities and the success rates have gone always almost to 100% on this simple let's say the simple capture the flag by within a year. And as well, what we see is like, what is the effort, the compute effort for the models to do that? And if, let's say, for the simple task, it has been done with a budget of 2.5 million tokens, which is really a low effort to do the simple tasks. But the most remarkable thing is, and that's as well what we have seen last week with ChatGPT 5.6 and Hugging Face, that these models are now, as well, the new generations have the capabilities to fulfill more complex capture the flag operations, where you need more steps, where you need more planned ways to solve the task step by step. And for example, this was as well a test from the UK Cybersecurity Institute, where you see, well, the idea is here for the benchmark that the model should achieve a full takeover of an entire IT system. So that's the sandbox benchmark environment. And to fulfill that, they need 32 steps and plan the steps, fulfill the steps, and each step needs to be successful to go to the next stage. And what we see as well, what is remarkable, that all the new models, like from OpenAI, ChatGPT, but as well the Chinese models like Moonshot Kimi, they are able to fulfill this complex task, which was as well not possible a year ago. But now we see there's as well 100% success rate for these models. And as well, what we see is, of course, the success rate is directly binded to the compute. So these new models are requiring a lot of compute to fulfill the task, which is at the moment, let's say, one good answer. Not all threat actors at the moment have the ability to invest so much compute or to gain so much compute. However, if you look at nation state actors, for them, compute is not the limit. So the bad story here is that no system at the moment will be safe. And as well, what we see towards for CRA, that it's getting as well for the vendors more challenging to react rather quick to identify if a model has, for example, used a new zero-day exploit, what is the risk from that zero-day, and then to react as well how the CRA is intending that you as a vendor should be take the reasonable actions, then like reporting, but as well securing your products. The point is, and this is the last thing here, I would show you that what we have seen as well from a vendor perspective, that it's getting super challenging because all these models, all these capabilities at the moment, they're creating a flood of CVEs and new exploit reports. And if we think as well in a traditional way, when the CRA was written, we had only a few CVE reports and vulnerability reports. Then today, it's completely clear that with traditional ways, the vendors are completely running out of resources on assessing the vulnerability reports, assessing if this vulnerability is a certain risk, and as well then going to the report to ENISA and whatever we are in the CRA. But last but not least, then preparing and shipping patches because it's so much, it's really a flood we see. And from a patch perspective, this is as well overstressing an entire industry. So my presentation had been, I think, just simply gone. I'm not sure why. Let's try to put it again here. Okay, I hope you can see it again. And the main concerning thing is that the ability from the models to detect new CVEs and exploits, and the ability from the vendors to react, and even the reaction is in proper time regarding the CRA, this is not enough because you're creating this spread between the reaction of the vendors and the way how CVEs are currently published on the market. And the spread is the window of opportunity for the attackers. And this spread is just growing at the moment. So even if the CRA is in place, it's not enough for vendors to take actions with the timelines and the actions which are implemented in the CRA. That's the most important question. It's not enough. You need to overfulfill what is written in the CRA to protect your products, to protect by that your customers, and to protect your own infrastructure. Which is leading as well into the whole question, which is very good intended in the CRA, that vendors should take care about their entire product lifecycle. Very good. Now we have seen two things which are remarkable. First of all, the question with fast fashion software that the product lifecycle is changing the way how products have a life cycle. And second, of course, for all the traditional products, how to implement the cybersecurity measurements and actions which are required. And traditional, and this is as well how the CRA is working with prevention, detection, reaction, and distribution here. It's very clear that we need to answer the threats by AI augmented and AI supported workflows and systems. There's no other way. It's if we look at the security recommendations from all, let's say, the remarkable cybersecurity organizations like BSI, ENISA, but as well as CISA, and for example, the NSA, which have for sure the offensive capabilities as well. Their recommendation is for high-risk systems, you should create or you should be able to roll out and ship patches within 12 hours to 1 day. And this is super challenging if we look into the supply chain, because if you are the operator and you have such a critical asset in your operation and you should patch it within 12 hours to 1 day, it means that your vendor, your supplier should be able to deliver the patch within that timeline, which has an effect on the software license agreement. And this is beside far away from what the CRA was intending. It was just simple, it should be done and measurable time. But however, there are no strict timelines in the CRA which can fulfill these strict requirements from the threats which are now reality by AI. So whatever vendors are doing at the moment, it's very clear that they should focus, of course, to fulfill the regulatory requirements of the CRA. However, this is not enough. They need to overfit. Otherwise, they have no chance to provide any product security. And if you think about it, the CRA is, of course, a regulation. And there are two ways how manufacturers and suppliers are thinking about regulation. One, to fulfill the regulatory requirements. Very simple, to ship their products to the European market. But on the other hand, the CRA was intended to increase the cybersecurity in products. And then we see, well, at that point, the CRA will fail. It will fail because the requirements on the market conditions have completely changed with the new game players by AI. And that's the message I'm sending to everybody in the industry, as well to the political bodies, that we need to take more actions seriously, more actions, speed up, and we need to overfit by support actions what is the demand, what is demanded in the CRA. And by that, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Thanks a lot, Mirko, for this insightful keynote. After every presentation, we will have 5 minutes of time to have some questions. We are running 5 or 7 minutes late, but we have one question that we could squeeze in. So from the viewers, if you have a question for Mirko, please fire. Nothing?
Yeah, I have one question. Mirko, do you think that this situation is already here, or it's still an expectation that it soon be common?
No, it's not an expectation. The situation is already here. And if you have seen, it's like 2 days ago, like one thing was which we have seen is like that for the US models like Fable and ChatGPT 5.6, there was this discussion about how the offensive capabilities, the cybersecurity capabilities in the models will be restricted for certain users. This is in place. But you can use jailbreaking and other technologies to go around, let's say it in that way. However, 2 days ago, and that's why it's here, Moonshot has released their Kimi model, which is almost very close from the offensive capabilities to the US models. And this is an open weight model. So it's in the market, everybody can use it. Everybody can set up now his own offensive capabilities, but as well, let's say the defensive capabilities based upon this Chinese model. So it's in the market, it's here. There's no more time to talk and discuss. This is really the time about action. And that's what we see as well, like from the public stakeholders at the moment. They had been very nervous and now they are more nervous. They're all preparing how to, for example, increase their time to patch the systems, because this is one most critical counteractions.
Okay, thanks a lot. Mirko, from my side, also one quick question. So it's a really interesting topic what you have raised and how CRA and agentic AI are affecting. My question is from both sides, from regulatory perspective and also for vendor perspective. From regulatory perspective, as you mentioned, that CRA was developed before the agentic AI came into place. So from the regulators, are they thinking about making some changes in the CRA law? And from the vendor perspective, what mechanisms they should put in place or what efforts they should do so that their software development or their products still remains compliant to the CRA in this agentic AI software development world?
Two very tough questions, because if you know, like when in Europe we are getting a regulation, it's very complicated to adjust regulation because it always needs the three bodies, Commission, Parliament, and member states to do that. I mean, we have this kind of small, and this is a very hard process. So I don't believe that there will be, let's say, quick regulatory response on that. But what we see, there's a need for action response. It's like, and at the moment, I think this is more important. It's more important that the regulatory space has understand that the CIA is a nice framework. Let's say it's a nice framework, but it will not be coming to this kind of effectiveness as planned, because the software environment world has changed with agentic AI. So now it's all about enabling the capabilities to get quicker. So to me, it's like the question: if you report your vulnerability to the ENISA is pointless, to be honest. The question for you as a company is how fast you can detect that this vulnerability is a risk for your system and how to react by yourself for your infrastructure. It's completely pointless to report it to ENISA because it's too many, let's say it in that way, that there will be any, let's say in the reporting ways are too long, that there will be any meaningful actions coming out of that for you as an industry player. So of course you need to do the reporting, but however, it's all about how to implement this kind of assessment to yourself and to improve the speed.
Okay, thanks a lot. Now let's move on to our first project presentation. It's from DOSS project, and Andreas Vilmos will be giving the presentation. He's a project manager of DOSS project. He's also a managing director of SafePay System Limited and senior consultant at Atos Hungary. Over the years, he was involved in the design, implementation, and validation of trusted systems and services like mobile payment, chip card management, identity, and access management. Andreas, for you, I think quite insightful and question to, or a transition to make the transition to your presentation. what we have developed in the DOSS project, how the agentic AI is going to affect, is our recommendation that we are giving from the DOSS project will be still useful or will bring value to the CRA. So over to you, Andreas. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm going to give a short introduction how we are actually satisfying or how we are aiming to satisfy the initial requirements of the CRA. I mean, in light of what Mirko was presenting, there is still lots to do, but we started with fulfilling some key requirements of the CRA, and we are actually implementing, or we have implemented a reference architecture which meets a number of the key points of the regulation. My presentation will be familiar to many of the audience because I see that the project is quite well represented here. So briefly, this is our consortium. It comprises large industrial actors, research organizations, universities, and SMEs. So it's really a balanced group with lots of knowledge and expertise in cybersecurity and software development. So if you are looking at the CRA, what it was intended, its timeline, it started in 24, so don't be surprised that it doesn't fulfill all the present needs and requirements. And it's not even in full application yet. Reporting application click in later this year, and full application only more than a year from today. And by that time, it may be just ready for update or complete rework. So what we have identified, what is relevant for our project, we are not dealing with the software development at this point. We are working on the value chain from that point on when the software is released. So we have to make sure that there is a relevant documentation of the project. We have to make sure that we only release projects which are known secure, so which has been tested and validated. We have to make sure that products, not only the products, but the procedure, how to integrate them and install them is secure. And when it's already in operation, we have to monitor it and we have to keep it secure. And this is the big question now that with agentic AI attacks and with what Mirko said, less than 12-hour or 24-hour response time, how we can do it. So what we said that we are going to set up a reference architecture, and I am right now presenting a short video about it.
We live surrounded by
How about
IoT
now?
devices, smart meters, connected vehicles,
Yeah.
industrial sensors. They collect data, control infrastructure, and run critical services. Yet most ship with no
Is it still on?
verified security baseline. The
Yeah.
question isn't whether vulnerabilities exist, it's whether anyone catches them before deployment. The DOSS project introduces the supply trust chain, a structured, end-to-end security verification framework. From the moment a device is designed, through testing, deployment, and operation, every step is documented, verified, and traceable. It starts with the manufacturer. Before a device reaches market, they generate a device security passport, a machine-readable document describing all security-relevant properties of the device. This passport is registered and uploaded to a central hub called the DSP platform, or DSPP. The Device Security Passport, or DSP, is the foundational document of the entire chain. Written in OSCAL, a machine-readable security format, it consolidates everything security-related about the device: configuration parameters, software bill of materials, known vulnerabilities, certifications, and supply chain information. Think of it as a security birth certificate for IoT devices. The DSP platform, or DSPP, is the central hub. It stores and manages all device security passports, controls access rights, and coordinates the verification workflow. Access is managed through the Front-End Access Management Module, or FEAM, which handles roles and permissions for all stakeholders interacting with the platform. The component tester receives the device's DSB and runs automated security tests against its components. It performs static and dynamic checks on the main components and repositories listed on the DSB. The result? 2 reports, a concise short report for fast review and a full long report for detailed audit. If the component tester finds issues, the manufacturer corrects the device, updates the DSB, and reruns the testing cycle. Once the device passes, it is ready for market. The manufacturer then issues an instance DSB, IDSB1 for the end user or operator. This is the deployment-ready security document, and with it come delegated operational rights. Unlike the generic DSB, the IDSB1 is instance-specific. It is bound to a particular physical device, includes the test results, and carries the cryptographic signature of the verification chain. It is what the operator receives to authorize deployment. The operator downloads the IDSB1 from the platform and connects to Digital Cybersecurity Twin, DCT. They provide the infrastructure as code model of their deployment environment, so the Twin can simulate the full architecture. The Digital Cybersecurity Twin first retrieves the component tester's report from the DSBP. It then builds a full digital simulation of the deployment architecture specified by the operator. Running against known vulnerability databases and threat models, the DCT evaluates the environment and generates an assessment dashboard, showing past checks, findings, and open issues. Once the DCT's assessment is complete, it forwards its report to the Architecture Security Validator. The ASV receives the report and analyzes the architecture against compliance standards. The Architecture Security Validator takes the DCT's validated report and checks it against regulatory and industry standards, the Cyber Resilience Act, ETSI, and others. It transforms those standards into machine-accessible rules, checks compliance, and prepares its recommendation. Before issuing its final verdict, the ASV sends a compliance questionnaire to the operator. Certain questions about configuration choices, operational procedures, and deployment context cannot be derived from technical assessment alone. The operator reviews each point and submits the required evidence. Based on both the DCT's technical report and the operator's responses, the ASV issues its final compliance decision. With compliance confirmed, the device is ready to be deployed. The onboarding platform first retrieves the device's DSB from the DSBP, using the MUD file to match the device's declared configuration profile. It then initiates onboarding using FIDO Device Onboard FDO. For capable devices, this is fully automated. Zero touch, no manual credentials, no configuration errors. For constrained devices that cannot support full automation, a manual onboarding path is also available. Once deployed, the device operates under continuous security monitoring. Security modules, including honeypots, intrusion detection systems, and attack detectors, watch for anomalies in real time. All telemetry is streamed through KAFKA, which acts as the operator's central hub for aggregating reports from all active security modules. KAFKA can also forward relevant findings back to the DSBP, closing the loop with the rest of the supply chain stakeholders. The supply trust chain doesn't end at deployment. It runs for the device's entire life cycle.
So this was the short summary of, well, not that short summary of how we foresee an architecture, a supply chain monitoring environment where we can really secure software after it has been implemented and up to the point of revoking and retiring the software. So I guess it's a comprehensive approach. And if I may summarize it shortly, with the device security passport, actually we are producing all the relevant documentation. This is a combined machine readable document consolidating all relevant security related information about the product. Then we have the component tester, which is actually running various tests, DOSS, EOS, and fuzzing and whatever on the IoT product. So it's really a comprehensive testing result, which all the other players in the value chain can act upon. Then we have the secure product installation, where we have multiple modules involved. We have the digital cybersecurity twin, which is modeling the entire architecture from a security point of view. Then we have the architecture security validator, which is assuring that the architecture complies with standards, regulations, and even best practices. And then when we know that these are the environment and both the device are secure, then we're getting to the secure deployment, which is automated in idle environments, is fully automated process. And we don't stop here. We are also monitoring the operation and providing feedback to the manufacturer. So we have this vulnerability report. So we are closing actually the whole loop from putting the device onto the market till operation and back to the manufacturer. So this is a reference architecture, which I guess is a valuable input to the CRA, and which could be implemented in diverse domains and industries. And with this, I'm completing my presentation. Thank you for listening to me.
Thanks a lot, Andreas. And it's really insightful and technical also, in terms of what different technical components are involved in the reference architecture. For me, the ASV component is really interesting, that it's able to pass different regulations and able to generate the output which can be used for testing purpose, or to check if a product is compliant or not compliant. So that is really interesting for me. With that, one question: is ASV designed in such a way that it can consume other regulations also, or it is CRA specific?
No, well, actually, the module comprises two submodules. One is automated AI-driven transformation module, which can transform any kind of standards regulation into machine-readable code, which then can be used to validate the specific architecture in terms of compliance. So it's a fully flexible environment. It can be used in the various industries, as we are demonstrating with our pilots, which automotive, energy, and smart home. We can cover all the various requirements and needs with this module as well.
Okay, thanks a lot. Anyone else would like to ask a question to Andreas? Okay, if not, then let's move to our second project presentation. It's for TrustBoost project. It will be given by Gareth Enright. He is an engineer and ISO lead auditor with NSAI, specializing in information security, medical devices, and management systems. He has over 25 years of engineering experience across healthcare, critical infrastructure, cybersecurity, and regulatory compliance. Gareth, floor is yours.
Thanks for the introduction, Rohit. Let me just share my screen here and we'll get kicked off. And now, can you see my screen okay, yeah?
Yeah, looks good.
Great, great. Okay, thanks again. Thanks for the opportunity to present the TrustBoost project. Today I'm going to provide an overview of TrustBoost, its objectives, the key achievement, and how the project is intended to help strengthen cybersecurity certification capabilities across Europe. TrustBoost, it's a European cybersecurity initiative funded under the Digital Europe programme and supported by the European Cybersecurity Competence Centre. The project is designed to support the implementation of emerging European cybersecurity legislation, particularly the EU Cybersecurity Act and the EU Cyber Resilience Act. So as cybersecurity regulation continues to evolve, organisations face increasing challenges in understanding certification requirements, demonstrating compliance and maintaining assurance throughout the life cycle of their products and services. So what TrustBoost is designed to do, it brings together regulators, accreditation bodies, certification bodies, conformity assessment bodies, people from research organisations, industry partners, to address these challenges through collaboration, capability development and digital innovation. So over the next few minutes, I'll introduce the project, explain the activities that are currently underway, provide an overview of the CyberBoost platform, and highlight the expected benefit for industry, regulators, certification stakeholders across Europe. So TrustBoost, it's a 3-year Digital Europe programme project running from September 2024 through to August 2027. The project has received more than 3 million euros in EU funding and brings together organisations from Ireland, France, Cyprus, Romania, the Czech Republic and Slovakia. The consortium, it includes a wide range of specialists from national cybersecurity certification authorities, national accreditation bodies, certification bodies, conformity assessment bodies, standards organisations, research institutions and universities, and industry representatives and technology partners. The project was established to address a growing challenge across Europe. So as legislation such as the Cybersecurity Act, Cyber Resilience Act, etc., and emerging European certification schemes continue to mature, organisations require greater support in understanding the requirements, demonstrating compliance, and navigating increasingly complex assessment processes. So TrustBoost aims to address these challenges through a coordinated programme of capability development, knowledge sharing, platform development, pilot projects and policy recommendations. And the overarching objective is to strengthen cybersecurity readiness, improve compliance capabilities, and to support a more harmonised certification ecosystem across Europe. So we'll just have a look at some of the activities that are organised as part of the project. So it's structured into 8 work packages covering the full life cycle of capability development, implementation and knowledge sharing. So you can see the work packages in green are ones that are completed, the ones in yellow are ones that are still ongoing. So work package 1 focuses on gap analysis and capability alignment. This established the baseline of understanding of cybersecurity certification readiness across participating organisations and identified areas requiring improvement. And then work package 2 develops reference implementations, methodologies and practical frameworks that organisations can use to improve cybersecurity certification capabilities. Work package 3 focuses on cross-border collaboration, knowledge exchange and capability development. It's particularly important because cybersecurity certification increasingly requires consistency and mutual understanding across EU member states. And work package 4 is responsible for the design and development of the CyberBoost platform. This is one of the project's most significant technical outputs and is being managed by Red Alert Labs. Work package 5 delivers pilot projects and real-world use cases to validate the concepts, methodologies and tools developed throughout the project. And the remaining work packages focus on dissemination, training, policy recommendations, exploitation activities and overall project management. So together these packages create a balanced programme that combines practical implementation, stakeholder engagement and strategic policy development. So in terms of the tools, frameworks and guidances, so one of the core objectives of TrustBoost is to provide practical tools that stakeholders can use to navigate cybersecurity certification and conformity assessment more effectively. And at the centre of this is the CyberBoost platform, which is supported by a range of frameworks, methodologies and guidance mechanisms. The project is developing a common taxonomy and language for certification stakeholders, stakeholder requirements mapping, regulatory and standards mapping, trust and assurance frameworks, certification and conformity assessment guidance, and knowledge sharing resources and best practices. These outputs help organizations answer important questions, including what certification requirements apply, which standards and regulatory obligations are relevant, and what evidence is required for assessment, and how can compliance be demonstrated effectively, and what responsibilities remain after certification has been achieved. So it's particularly valuable for SMEs that often face challenges in terms of navigating multiple regulation standards and certification frameworks simultaneously. The goal, it's not simply to support compliance, but to improve understanding, consistency, and confidence across the entire life cycle of the software device. So moving on, the CyberBoost platform, we have a platform that's been developed. It's the heart of the TrustBoost project. It's been designed to support the management and visibility of certification and conformity information throughout the life cycle of a digital product or service. So today, information relating to security evaluations, certification, surveillance activities, conformity assessments, and compliance evidence, it's often fragmented across multiple organizations and systems. So what CyberBoost aims to do is to address this challenge by providing a shared environment that supports collaboration between key stakeholders, including technology providers, conformity assessment bodies, certification bodies, national accreditation bodies, and national cybersecurity certification authorities. And the platform that supports greater transparency of certification activities, improved lifecycle management, more consistency in terms of interpretation of regulatory requirements, and better traceability of evidence and assessment outcomes, and enhanced collaboration across the certification ecosystem. Ultimately, CyberBoost seeks to create a more connected, efficient, and trusted European approach to cybersecurity certification and conformity assessment. So the expected benefits, it aims to deliver practical benefits for organizations operating within an increasingly regulated cybersecurity environment. So first of all, organizations gain a simpler way to navigate cybersecurity requirements. By providing a more unified approach to standards, regulations, and compliance frameworks, TrustBoost can reduce the effort required to understand regulations and legislation such as the Cybersecurity Act and the Cyber Resilience Act. Secondly, the project supports more efficient certification and conformity assessment processes. It provides greater transparency, shared understanding, and common governance approaches, which help reduce duplication of effort and improve consistency. And thirdly, improved visibility of certification and conformity information can strengthen trust and credibility in the marketplace. This helps organizations demonstrate assurance to customers, regulators, procurement bodies, and business partners. And the project also promotes a lifecycle approach to cybersecurity, helping organizations manage vulnerabilities, surveillance activities, maintenance obligations, and ongoing compliance regulations and requirements more effectively. And finally, through training, peer learning, and cross-border collaboration, TrustBoost helps organizations remain adaptable as cybersecurity regulation and certification schemes continue to evolve. Collectively, these benefits are particularly valuable for SMEs, reducing barriers to compliance and improving readiness for future regulatory requirements. So that's the end of the presentation. So in conclusion, as TrustBoost moves into the next phases, our focus is increasingly on delivering practical outcomes, validating real-world use cases, and sharing knowledge with the wider cybersecurity community. So some contact details are provided there. People are welcome to connect with us through our website or through our LinkedIn page, or even send an email. The project's public deliverables, guidance documents, frameworks, policy recommendations, and platform outputs will be made available through the TrustBoost website as they become available. And I'd encourage everybody involved in cybersecurity certification, conformity assessment, implementation, and that to engage with its outputs. So thanks very much.
Thanks a lot, Gareth, for really interesting presentation. Are there any questions for Gareth from audience? I have one small question. So this under this EU Cybersecurity Act, there are multiple certification schemes like EUCC or EUCS, EU5G, and Wallet, and other certification scheme. So in your project, are you targeting all of these certification scheme, or you focus on one particular one?
Well, at the moment, we're looking at the CRA currently, but theoretically, it could be used for different certification schemes. But currently, we're looking at the CRA and potentially the EUCC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Gareth. Then let's move to our next presentation. It's for CyberSTAND project, and this will be given by Luigi Colucci. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. He's a project manager specializing in EU-funded ICT standardization projects, such as standict.eu, Insta, cyberstand.eu, Indigo Global, hsbbooster.eu, fostering engagement between researchers, industry, and standard bodies. His expertise focuses on cybersecurity, helping maximizing the impact and visibility of European standardization efforts. Over to you, Luigi, on CyberSTAND.
Thanks for inviting us to this webinar, and thanks also for the other speaker for the great presentations. Okay, so now what I'm going to do today is to quickly introduce the CyberSTAND projects. So the idea is that you will get to learn more about what we're doing, and also hopefully you will also participate in our activities, because we have a lot planned. Okay, so very quickly, what CyberSTAND is, it's EU-funded projects, and the idea is that we fund European experts, especially from SMEs and the open source community, to participate in Cyber Resilience Act standardization activities. As you can see, the consortium is very small, but we have very strong components within the European standardization landscape. We're talking about ETSIS and CENELEC, which are the actors that are working directly on the standards for the Cyber Resilience Act. Also, Digital SME, which is really helpful in terms of reaching out to the SMEs, which are one of the main target of our projects. Okay, so just to tell you more about the entire context of why CyberSTAND exists. So the idea, as you can see, that the Cyber Resilience Act is a regulation that is going to come into place, full compliance, as you can see, by December 2027. There is two sides to the story, which is the law on one hand, and on the other hand, the practical tool through which companies will be able to comply would be the harmonized standards that are being developed by ETSIS and CENELEC. And this is why CyberSTAND comes into the play, because standardization are the tools, and then we need to make sure that they are easy to be adopted by SMEs, which form the majority of the landscape within Europe. So this is why CyberSTAND is targeting them on one end, removing the financial barriers for SMEs to join the cross-standardization activities, because as you know, standardization activities is costly activities, and usually we see larger companies that are able to afford that. This is why CyberSTAND provides funding and trying to promote that, especially to SMEs and the open source community, to ensure that their values, that their perspective are integrated within the standards, which eventually, when they're ready, they will benefit from easier adoption. And then on the other end, by providing this additional expertise to the standardization activities, we also provide support to ETSIS and CENELEC, which have more firepower, let's say, to work on the standardization. So what we're doing in CyberSTAND can be divided into three main pillars. As I mentioned, the first one is to fund experts to contribute to the Cyber Resilience Act harmonized standards. Then what we're doing also, another very important activities that we're doing, especially at this point in time of the project, is to build awareness to SMEs about the Cyber Resilience Act, because although what we saw is that although they will be affected by the Cyber Resilience Act, a lot of SMEs are not aware that it's coming, are not aware that they will have to comply and what they will have to do to comply. So we are trying to fill in this gap. Then the third thing that we are doing, not only awareness, but also providing them with practical resources that are going to help them to comply with the regulation. So I'm going to break down each of those three elements. So regarding the funding, what we have been doing so far, we had at our disposal 1.5 million euro to support European experts. We have delivered so far almost the entire budget allocated to that. As you can see, slightly more than 1 million. And we have done that through 9 cycles of funding, what we call specific service procedure, that have been delivered consistently since the beginning of the project. We go back to 2024, as you can see, and the last one was made available at the end of last year in 2025. So this is a screenshot, a snapshot of what we have been able to deliver thanks to the funding. We're talking about more than 160 applications, of which 78 of them was funded, and we allocated across those 78 more than 1 million euro. We achieved our goal to promote, to ensure that the SME's perspective was taken into consideration. In fact, more than 50% of the contribution went to the small and medium enterprises. As you can see, also the way that the nationality is spread across entire Europe. We got France, Germany, Spain, Croatia, Italy, the most popular application, but then we have also other countries. And as you can see, the result in our contribution to the ETSI, cybersecurity standardization activity in TC Cyber, Sensenelec GTC 13. So they have really helped and went into the groups that are working on these standards. So this is regarding the funding activities. Now the current focus on the project at the moment, and you can also see this reflected on our website if you visit it, is that we are currently focusing the majority of our effort in building SMEs awareness on the Cyber Resilience Act, because the funding and the creation supporting to the standardization is important, but then SMEs must be aware that this is happening. To avoid a little bit of the situation that we had with the GDPR, that every company was running kind of last minute. So we are doing this consistently through, on one end, joining third-party events. So we go into existing community, existing platform, and we spread the word there. But also we are organizing events of our own, so we are able to shape the agenda and identify the target. We've done 18 events, and we have more planned already. If you go to the website, we have been able to reach more than 800 stakeholders, mostly SMEs. We also have local policy makers. We have also local standardization bodies. So we really try to do our best to make sure that the SMEs arrive prepared. More on the events later. Then the third pillar I mentioned earlier is we try to help SME comply with the Cyber Resilience Act, and the way that we are doing that is we put together a cluster of similar projects, and as you can see here, we have around 10 other projects, and all of these, they are providing technical tools free for using on various aspects of compliance, from penetration testing to maturity score assessment, and they are tools that are being developed now. Some of these projects, if in case you have followed some of our events, we are now showcasing the demos of this tool. Some of them you can already use. So I suggest you visit our website. We have a dedicated page where you can access those projects and then their tool. Something really impactful we are doing at the moment is what we call the standardization unlock European tours. They are events, but what's special about this is that we are going local. So they are hybrid events. You can join online, but the idea is that what's most important for us, we give you the opportunity to join us on site. We have been visiting various European cities to touch local SMEs. We've done this already, as you can see at the bottom right corner, in Zagreb, in Turin, Barcelona, Paris, Stockholm. We went to Malta, Bucharest, and as you can see here, at the moment, we already have 3 more of those events planned: Lisbon, The Hague, and Bonn. Each event, in case you didn't know about those, you can go to our website. We have slides, we have recordings, so you can go back. We also have the agenda there on the event page, so you can see what we were discussing, and you can directly check the recording there. And I suggest really to also join us for the upcoming events. If possible, I would suggest that you join online, because then we have some dedicated part of the agenda allocated for networking, so you can ask your questions that are tailored to your company, to your SMEs, to your startup, directly to the speaker, to the rapporteurs of the standards, because these are the people that we are bringing to those events. Otherwise, if it's not possible for you, we still suggest that you join online, because we really keep the discussion going. So this is like a zoom in on those 3 events. We are in Lisbon, the 17th of September. Then in October, we are in Netherlands, The Hague, and then 7th of October, so really short span, we have 3 events. We are in Germany at Bonn. Okay, so that's it. Then the last thing, we have launched a CyberStand public consultation. You can scan this QR code to join it, or otherwise you can find it directly in our website, and that's very helpful also for you, because you by participating and contributing to this survey, you will be able to have your saying on the Cyber Resilience Act, because we are going to share this the results with our consortium member ETSIS and CENELEC as well. Okay, so that's it for me, and thank you for the time.
Thanks a lot, Luigi. Thanks a lot for the presentation. Are there any questions from the audience for Luigi? Okay, one question from my side, just for understanding. So CyberStand project, you fund the experts so that they could help you in developing the CRA harmonized standards. So in the end, the CyberStand would own these standards?
No, obviously not. It's we're simply feeding additional expert to ETSIS and CENELEC, let's say.
Okay. And in the end, the result of CyberStand project would be that there are harmonized CRA standards developed and they are publicly available.
Yes, so the main result, as I mentioned earlier, is that ETSIS and CENELEC are doing a great job. They have a very long year experience, not just in terms of creating standard for the Cyber Resilience Act, but also other regulations. So the actual impact of CyberStand is twofold. The first one, it's that we provide them with additional experts. So considering the short time span of the deadlines, it's helpful for them because they have additional people contributing to make sure they respect the deadline. And then the second impact of CyberStand, it's also that we are bringing to the table people that otherwise would really struggle to get there, especially SMEs, because unlike bigger companies that have sometimes dedicated people, literally sometimes they have dedicated staff, they have dedicated budget. This is not the case for most SMEs. Some of them, they don't even know what standardization is. We try to fill in this gap and to bring to the table the SMEs that otherwise they might not be able to do that. And the impact of this to bring SMEs to the table is that they can provide their values, their requirements, their point of view, because sometimes what we're talking are also SMEs are sometimes companies that don't have dedicated cybersecurity staff, so they probably also struggle to understand what's been written in the standards. So this is why it's helpful to bring them to the table. So obviously standards are consensus based, so what happens at the table, it's clearly behind the control of the project, but bringing those people to the table, it increases the chance that eventually when the standards come out, the SMEs will be in a better position to adopt them.
Right. And during this process, do you also track the progress of a standard? Do you check, or for you, the KPI is how many experts you are bringing in this process?
So we have Etienne and Senalik in the consortium themselves. Therefore, we are literally communicating very often regarding the status of the standards. The main KPI for us is in terms of quantitative KPIs, how many people we manage to bring to the table, but this only clearly if they respect a baseline level of quality. When we started the project, we clearly had a number in mind because we want to achieve a big impact. But the important thing for us is that we bring the right people to the table. So it's not just a matter of numbers. And then a quality KPI for us is to make sure that the contribution that the people that we brought to the table actually contributed to move forward the standard. So that's a long process because standardization is long, but preliminary feedback we received is that in certain cases we manage certain sentences to be added or to be taken into consideration or to be discussed that came from our experts. So both qualitative KPIs and quantitative KPIs. So that's the thing.
Okay, thanks a lot. So now we have reached to the end of the webinar. I would like to thank all the speakers, Mikko Ross, Andras, Gareth, and Luigi, for bringing out expert opinion and expertise in these presentations. It was really fruitful discussion, and I'm sure for the audience also it gave them food for thoughts. It was a really good mix of standardizations from IoT security and also what's really happening in the world of agentic AI, what challenges and what value these new technologies are bringing and how they are affecting the CRA regulation and any other regulations. And thanks a lot and have a nice day, everyone.